Yet when I'm returning from so far away, she give me some sweet loving, brighten up my day. Yet it make me righteous, ooh, and it makes me whole. Yet it make me mellow down to my soul. She give me love, 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 crazy love. She give me love, 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 crazy love.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
With your morning newscast, I'm Kevin Smith. The Environmental Protection Agency on Tuesday last renewed the environmental permit for production of crude oil and associated gases from the Liza 1 oil field in the Stabroek Block by operator Esso. In making the announcement, the EPA said it had increased the fine charged for flaring up to $50 from $45 for every ton of carbon dioxide emitted through that process. A perusal of the renewed permit illustrates, however, that it is Esso, ExxonMobil's subsidiary, that would be providing an estimate of the amount of carbon dioxide flared, for which a fine must be paid. Under the provisions of the renewed permit that addresses flaring, it outlines that the permit holder shall estimate greenhouse gas emissions, include carbon dioxide and CO2e emissions. Meanwhile, the bountiful oil scenario in Guyana has served as a major lifeline to foreign operators such as Hess Corporation, which has a 30% stake in the over 6 million acres Stabroek Block it shares with partners US-based ExxonMobil and Chinese company China National Offshore Oil Corporation. In fact, Hess is seeking to lure investors with the unprecedented level of positive fiscal returns coming from Guyana's oil discoveries. During the Bernstein's 38th Annual Strategic Decision Conference held in New York on Thursday, Hess Corporation's CEO John Hess spoke extensively on the many positives coming out of the Stabroek Block. Hess told attendees that Guyana is the fastest growing offshore development globally, with significant value coming out of that venture. Meanwhile, days after Vice President Bawa Jagdeo dismissed the International Monetary Fund as a financial institution only interested in balancing budgets and not development, the entity yesterday called on those in charge of public spending to curb the practice since it would not be sustainable in the long term. It would be poignant to note that Budget 2022, which was presented and since approved, represents the first year of expenditure using Guyana's oil resources and saw the estimates of expenditure for the year ballooning by some 37% over the previous year, the majority of which is earmarked for spending on capital programs. According to the IMF, however, it is recommending a feasible and moderate increase in public investment, while further strengthening the medium-term framework for fiscal policy. And now let's tell you, in a recent report, the World Health Organization highlighted how the tobacco industry is not only harmful to human health, but it is also poisoning the planet. The report, titled Tobacco Poisoning Our Planet, was released on May 31st, World Tobacco Day. That should be World No Tobacco Day. According to the report, tobacco harms people's health directly through use and exposure to secondhand smoke and through its negative impact on the environment. It was stated, too, that tobacco's impact on the environment occurs at various stages, including growing and cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, use, and disposal of tobacco products, with each stage having negative implications for the environment, including the use of precious resources such as water and trees, and creation of pollutants through manufacturing. In other news, China Railway First Group, the company that recently informed the government of its inability to secure finances to execute the Amila Falls Hydro project, is now among 7 contractors vying for the contract to expand the New Amsterdam to Quarantine Highway. The New Amsterdam to Quarantine Highway expansion project is one to be undertaken by the Ministry of Public Works. During the opening of tenders on Thursday at the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board office, it was revealed that this is just one phase of the highway project, which is estimated to cost $4.8 billion. And that brings us to the end of this morning's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Fellow citizen, Guyana is watching a horror movie at present. When you sleep and wake up, all you will live with is nightmares you witness. The government keeps on boasting about all these new oil discoveries without saying a single word of what is there in those finds for me and you. They are not addressing, they are not telling us, they are not saying a single word about the cost Exxon is throwing at us for these finds. This is the horror movie that I'm talking about, that we are looking at without any end in sight. Every day that goes by, these oil companies keeps on drilling holes upon holes out there, costing us in excess of $100 million per hole, whether they find oil or not. Guyana have already chalked up billions of US dollars on drilling those wet and dry holes alone, which is only a part of the horror movie we are watching daily, brothers and sisters. Exxon can boast, presently they're boasting how much they and their shareholders will pocket on these finds. Who's boasting for me and you? Huh? The vice president in charge of the oil sector, making himself busy, avoiding the media to explain to this nation what is going on. Instead, he running around, keeping bottom house meetings all over, giving you guys false hopes and promises. This is a message from Glenn Lal. Please share it.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind